fourth quarter plays there. Obviously, they're driving on you guys and they're threatening to score there, but you get the big deep ball pass defended, and then the big fourth down one as well. Just talk us maybe through that series for you.
Yeah, for sure. This was like really, a game that really tested me being locked in the whole game, because I really didn't get the targets the whole game, but everybody was telling me they coming, stay locked in, stay locked in, source. So, really was just focused the whole game, and then when the moment presented itself, I feel like I was ready.
They targeted you as well that PBU on fourth down. Like you said, they don't target you that often, but how important is it for you to come up with a stop like that on that PBU on a big time play?
Yeah, those are real big plays. I feel like you got to make those plays. That's why you come to LSU. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like I do that for my brothers. Showing up. Coach put me on that island, and I got to show up. And make plays. And I feel honored to do that.
South Carolina had about a half dozen false penalties tonight. How much do you think the crowd and just the defense played a factor in it?
Death Valley is nothing like this stadium I've been to. Played at or anything. So, I think there's a stadium called 12th Man, whatever. But I think this is a close thing to it. It's an extra play on the field for us. Intimidation factor. Creates miscommunication.
You talk about your consistency and your teammates' ability to rely on you week after week. You're shutting down your side of the field.
For sure. I just feel like when your goal is just bigger than every other past plays and stuff like that. I got so many more goals that I want to accomplish. It just motivates me to go hard every day, and I feel like every week I come in hungry. Every week I have something to prove. I feel like the underdog. And that just motivates me to, have a chip on my shoulder.
What are some of those goals?
Obviously national championship, the Jim Thorpe, that's definitely one of my big goals. And you get the Jim Thorpe, everything else come after. So, I feel like, I gotta, especially when I don't get as many targets and stuff now, when plays come my way, I gotta make something happen.
You see, whenever you have the PBUs and things like that, you see a lot of emotion. You seem to be a guy that kind of plays with, like you said, a chip on your shoulder. How much do you think that helps you in these type of situations, in these big moments like this?
Yeah, it's kind of like a mixture of both. As a corner, you have to be very composed. It's like you can't come into the game just, beating your chest, because, you have to be composed, locked in, patient. So, after I make the play, I just feel like I just let it all out. Before the play, I'm all patient and, I feel like I'm quiet and stuff like that. But when you make plays, I feel like all my emotion just comes out.
Mansoor, 10 points to an SEC team like this. How much pride do y'all take in 10 points?
Yeah, definitely. Baker, it starts from him. The confidence he has in us and the confidence we have all in each other. The standard is even higher than today. That little, bust at the beginning of the game, that should have happened. It should have been 3 points. So, really just, the expectation of this defense, and it's very high. So, try to.
What is the expectation? You said it's high. What is the expectations of this defense?
Sure, you're never going to get perfection, but, we chase it. So, really I feel like every week there's something that we can always improve. So, we clean up those things, and every team we play from now on is going to get better and better and better. So, we have to keep cleaning those things up, and then we'll be the defense we want to be.
How important was it to get Sellers into those passing situations, and because how much of a threat he is rushing, but how important was it for this defense to get in those situations so you guys can take advantage in the secondary when he is passing?
Yeah, great quarterback, great athlete, but Coach Bigger again preached make him play quarterback, and make him throw the ball. So obviously you've seen tonight he's just running all around back there, great athlete, like I said again, but we want to force him into our strengths. That was kind of the main goal tonight.
Did y'all just throw everything at him? Looks all kinds of looks. Looks like everything had to stop him.
Yeah. We just played the game plan and do what we did in practice, and then I feel like it paid off today.